Hi, in this session we'll discuss about real-time personalization principles. So you are going to learn how to use raw user data to craft delightful user experiences. My name is François, I'm a software engineer at Algolia, and these past years I've been building open source tools for developers to create engaging search and recommendation experiences. These past 3 years, I've focused specifically on the personalization layer of these systems. So today is my pleasure to talk about personalization, a topic deeply intertwined with user psychology. We'll discuss the evolution of personalization, where it started, where it's going. Then I'll show you what we mean by a personalized user journey. And lastly, we'll see together how you can build a system that delivers the right content to the right user at the right time. Hello name. This is most likely how personalization started in the 90s. And I bet that you're still receiving this kind of emails today with that exact same placeholder. But actually, the end of the 90s was remarkable for personalization. And a giant that we still know today pioneered personalization systems, Amazon. In 1998, Amazon launches its personalized recommendation system based on past user purchases. And as a reminder, this is what the web looked like in 1998. So Amazon truly laid the foundation for personalization in the 2000s, inspiring big players like Netflix, YouTube, and others to jump onto the personalization train. In 2005, Google introduces personalized search results, also based on user history. In 2011, Netflix supports contextual personalization. It is since able to recommend shorter shows during your morning commute and longer shows in the evening. In 2015, Spotify launches Discover Weekly, delivering one personalized playlist for each user. In 2017, Netflix introduces dynamic artwork personalization. This was a great way to increase user engagement by serving a movie artwork based on your preferences. So if you're more into romantic movies, you might get more romantic artworks. In 2018, Algolia launches personalized search results based on user history as well. This was the introduction of the user entity in the Algolia search engine. Until then, it was only based on queries. And in 2022, Amazon starts offering personalized deals and discounts. So each offers receive kind of different deals now on Amazon. So those are some significant milestones for personalization, and the list goes on really, especially in social media these days. So by now we could think that personalization is a well-known domain, but today we'll discuss some of the nuances to get personalization right. And we'll try to demonstrate that every interaction tells a story. So let me show you what we mean by a personalized user journey. This is a typical e-commerce website, and in this demo I'm going to search for some games. Let me type in Assassin's Creed games. Right, so we've got some search results here, and it seems like there are many different game consoles. And I'm a PS4 user, so I'm interested in that Black Flag game here. I'm gonna add it to my cart. Right, let's check GTA games. Right, so it seems like personalization has already taken effect here. So it's pretty fast for demo purposes, and we'll see today in this talk how to mitigate this in real life applications. But for the sake of showing personalization here, it seems like the system already understood that I'm a PS4 user, and the PS4 search results are actually surfacing first. That's good because it saves me some time. And anytime that you see a For You badge in this demo, it means that the section is personalized. On the left, we can also see some personalized filters with the PS4 category being suggested here. All right, so let me add GTA to my cart. Now let's check the homepage. This seems pretty personalized already. We can see Discover More in PS4 because you've seen Rockstar Games, which is the game publisher for GTA, for fans of Ubisoft, which is the game publisher for Assassin's Creed. And below are some trending categories. PS4 is also personalized because Watch Dogs is from the same game publisher as Assassin's Creed. Scrolling down, we can see some non-personalized recommendations global to all users. And below are some recommendations based on my cards. So let's check my cards. I've got Assassin's Creed, GTA, both for PS4. And we can see here some personalized offer. I'm being offered free shipping. So I'm activating that. Right, so back to the slides. You've seen how the interface evolves, adapts to my needs. And we'll see how you can actually surface the right offer, the right product, or the right experience to your user at the right time. Let's dig into the technicalities now. I like to think in principles. For everything that I do when it's related to user experiences, principles help maintain a safe balance between technology and usability. So, first, personalization should be immediate, right? After any meaningful user interaction, we should be able to recommend something to the user. But personalization should be balanced. It's not because the technology lets us create some hyper-specific experiences that we should, right? We should delight the user. We should bring them on a journey so that they get fulfilled. And so any business metric increase or decrease can be seen as a natural consequence of the user's experience. Personalization should be transparent. At any point in time, we should be able to explain to the user why something is showing up on their screen. Of course, personalization should be private and secure by design. We should collect the minimum amount of data um, regarding this user with their consent, and we should encrypt this data. And lastly, personalization should be measurable. You should know what you are trying to optimize. Personalization is not just a checkbox, right? And you should remember that bad personalization is worse than no personalization. So this is a typical technical stack for building real-time personalization. First, you need some data streaming to capture the user signals. Then you need to process this data in real time to extract user affinities, user preferences, user goals, which are then served with a real-time API to then design an adaptive user experience. Let's dig into data streaming first. The goal is to capture user intents. So trying to translate human behavior to data signals comes with the realization that human behavior is noisy, and the challenge is to discover useful patterns among the randomness. So we need to find interactions that reflect who you are and what you like. When it comes to user-centric features such as personalization, it's essential to understand the typical user journey of your app. And it usually starts with awareness. Your user becomes aware of a certain product, certain content, then they show interest, then they might consider it, and they might even convert. And then there is the user satisfaction component that comes into play. Has the person returned? Has the person churned? Has the person asked for a refund? That's a very important signal because it might validate or invalidate the previous journey that the user has done. So once we've captured these user signals, we need to process the data in real time. Processing the data in real time means that we need to process it on the fly as soon as an event happens. So here we receive an awareness event. And we're gonna process a list of steps. We might compute scores for user preferences. Here we assign a weight of 1 point to the awareness signal. We might also want to generate features for machine learning systems. We might also want to combine streaming data with historical user profiles, facts that we know about our users. And we might also want to apply contextual factors such as location, time, and weather. And so for each event that we receive, we're gonna go through this list of steps. The only difference from one event to the other is the weight of the event. Also, the fact that for one event, we need to take into consideration the previous events that have happened in the session. So now we need to serve the user profiles with a real-time API. And in real-time personalization, every millisecond counts. So we need to optimize every part of the system. The API also needs to handle thousands of concurrent requests, so this requires load balancing and efficient resource allocation. There is a small paradigm shift with real-time personalization, which is that caching can compromise the real-time nature of the data, so we need to rely less heavily on caching. If something goes wrong, we still need to serve a response to the user, right? So we need to have fallback mechanisms, such as historical user preferences, or we could also leverage the browser cache. Lastly, the API should return data in a format that's easily consumable by the front-end stack. So here is an example of an API response. This is a user profile as a JSON object, which contains a user session ID, some user segments to which the user belongs to, and some user preferences, here named affinities. So now that we have a real-time API, we are ready to create an engaging user experience. And user engagement is all about timing, so we need to get the timing right. When the user lands on your page, you most likely don't know anything about them. So we're gonna serve some generic content, but then they interact with the app. So they show awareness for a hat. They show interest in the hat. They actually might be interested in that. They might show some consideration. And at this point, we could consider that this is a strong enough signal to compute a new version of the user profile. But this is only when the user navigates that we're going to apply personalization. And so on the next page, we know that the user has some affinities with this hat. The user quickly looks at some glasses, but then jumps straight to a shirt. They becomes aware of this shirt. They show interest in this shirt. They show actually some pretty good consideration with this shirt. So at this step, we might want to compute another version of the user profile. And again, this is only when the user navigates to the next page that we're going to apply personalization. So at this step, we know that the user has some affinities with this shirt and this hat. And the preferences are confirmed because the user purchases both the shirt and the hat. Now, a quick mention about the web platform and the user's expectations on the web platform. If at T2 the user decides to go back to the previous page with the browser back button, we should be able to recover the profile computed at T1, right? This is to support temporal consistency and data integrity. So in terms of code, this is how it could look like. This is using the Remix web framework. At the top, you can see a loader function executed on a server, which fetches the session user profile. At the bottom, there is an application component that provides the user profile to the whole application component tree. And in Remix, the loader function is revalidated at page load and every page change, which is exactly what we need for personalization. Then you can build your own component and you can compose it. Here is a segmentation component that display conditional UIs depending on user preferences. Here is some components for personalizing recommendations. And so you can see how straightforward it is to implement personalization once we have a well-designed real-time API, right? But as with any powerful tool, we must consider its impact on the user experience. And an important concept to be aware of is the filter bubble. The filter bubble happens when the user is exposed to only familiar content, and it leads to significant biases in their user experience. The filter bubble can also affect your business because users might not buy as much in the long run. And also you might miss some cross-selling opportunities. So it's crucial to find the right balance for your business. You need to guide the user with personalized content while allowing them enough room for autonomy. So let's explore some techniques to achieve this balance. First, you could have an activation mechanism. The idea is to apply personalization only once we are confident enough about the user's needs. This could be after we've received enough user events. This could be after we have a well-rounded view of the user's preferences. Or this could be after we've matched the user to other non-user profiles. This is known as collaborative filtering. Another approach is to apply personalization in multiple layers. there are three main layers to consider. First, content appearance, which is what Netflix is doing with dynamic artwork. Then you can boost content, which is what Algolia is doing with personalized search results. And finally, the strongest way to apply personalization is via filtering, which is what Algolia is doing with personalized recommendations. Lastly, time decay helps to keep personalization relevant and up to date. So recent interactions have more weight, while older ones slowly fade in importance. And so a slow time decay is useful when user preferences tend to be stable during the session, while a fast time decay is ideal for apps where the user interest fluctuates quickly. So we've discussed several principles to enhance rather than diminish the user experience. And I'd like to reflect on this fundamental truth in human interaction, which is that the joy of being listened to vanishes when we are misunderstood. With all these principles in mind, we've been working on a complementary solution to our existing personalization offering at Algolia. So we are super excited to open a waitlist for this real-time personalization solution. If you'd like to get early access, go ahead and register on this link. Thank you so much.